So the first presentation is it's going to highlight PanAmerican Seeds, the plants that we're growing from PanAmerican Seed. And so again, I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to start with a short video where we are highlighting some of the plants grown here at UF, and then we'll proceed to introduce our next speaker, who will be giving a live presentation.
Hello, my name is Stephanie Cruz, and I am a master's student at the University of Florida. Today, I'll be showcasing a few varieties from several breeders. For each variety, on this side will be the plant representative of what I've grown in the greenhouse, and on this side of each variety will be a representative plant that was grown indoors. Right now, I'll be showcasing a few varieties from PanAmerican Seed. On this side, we have Little Bing. The Little Bing in the greenhouse is very vigorous compared to that indoors. In the greenhouse, it has very big leaves and a very large height. Little Bing in general produces these fruits that are slightly bigger than that of cherry tomatoes. Little Bing is said to be very popular among hobby growers as seen on social media. Over here we have Siam. This is Siam grown in the greenhouse and Siam grown indoors. Siam in the greenhouse is just slightly bigger than that indoors, but either way, it produces these big beautiful leaves. Siam is very productive. It has so many fruits, especially within the foliage. Siam has a staggering ripening rate, so consumers can continuously harvest from Siam as opposed to having 2 or 3 larger harvests. This is a characteristic that is very desirable among growers. Now I'll be showcasing a few of the larger varieties from PanAmerican. Over here, we have Topsy Tom. Topsy Tom experiences more of a trailing growth habit. This would be perfect for a hanging basket, and it's very sturdy, so any wind or weather conditions won't easily snap the branches. We have a few ripe fruits so far, and it's still producing flowers. This plant has the potential to be very productive. Over here, we have Little Napoli. Little Napoli has Roma-sized tomatoes. Although we don't have any ripe fruit right now, it still has flowers and also has the potential to be very productive. Little Napoli is the perfect size for this pot and for it to be supported with this cage. And over here we have Sunrise Sauce. It's recommended to grow this in the soil because it's very large and very vigorous. It produces a sweet orange Roma type fruit.
Okay, now I'm going to be highlighting 5 cultivars from PanAmerican Seed. These are all pepper plants, and they were grown in the greenhouse and in the indoor environment. I'm going to be starting with Fresh Bites Red, which is a sweet pepper, and that's somewhat unique among the different compact cultivars that were grown. A lot of them tend to be mild or hot flavored. This is one of the few sweet peppers that we grew. It will produce this very nice looking red fruit once it's mature. And now with this cultivar in particular, we did see differences when the plants were grown in the greenhouse or indoors. You can clearly see that the greenhouse plant was slightly taller. The plant grown indoors was a little bit more bushier. Having said that though, the indoor plant is also covered in fruits, lots of fruits that will ultimately be harvested. So we would consider this one of the medium to high yielding cultivars that we grew. I'm going to move now to Cosmo, another very unique plant because it produces this, as you can see, very colorful purple flowers, fruits initially. And you can also appreciate some purple coloring on the leaves of the plants, which make it this a very nice ornamental and edible plant. It would make a very nice centerpiece. Again, this is one of those cultivars where the greenhouse plant was different than the indoor, but this is a unique case where the greenhouse plant in general was slightly smaller, and we believe this has something to do with the irrigation practices. It is a very, very compact plant when it's beginning to grow, So we need to be very cautious with the irrigation, not to over irrigate these plants. Essentially, once these purple fruits start maturing, they'll transition into a very nice red color. So again, it's a very attractive compact plant. Now we have hot burrito, one hot pepper. Unique characteristic that the fruits tend to point outwards, so it's attractive to consumers as the fruits are essentially very visible on the plant and they're easy to pick and easy to identify once they've matured. Another case where the greenhouse plant was slightly taller than the indoor plant. Both are very high yielding cultivars though, and they make very nice indoor or outdoor plants to be grown in containers. And now we have yellow tomato. Yellow tomato is one of my personal favorites, and that is because when grown indoors in particular, it maintains this very nice bushy, almost like a bowl-shaped plant, similar to the fruits actually. It produces these little circular fruits, which is something somewhat unique among the different cultivars that we grew. This one, once mature, it will turn into a very nice yellow fruit within the plant. So it's very attractive. When it was grown in the greenhouse, it was a slightly larger plant that had more branches sticking out, whereas grown indoors, it just maintained this beautiful circular shape. And even when the plant was beginning to develop, essentially we saw all these flowers from this plant, and they're this beautiful white flowers. So at all times, it's been one of the nicest looking plants that we've grown. And now we have hot lemon. It's one of those larger plants from PanAmerican Seed, and it's very unique because it ultimately produces this very nice teardrop shaped fruit. It's very bright yellow fruit once it's mature, and it's very spicy, so it's a very hot pepper plant. It's going to be very productive. We see several small fruits on the plant, but we also see a lot of flowers still left on this plant, so growers will ultimately have this continuous production of very hot pepper plants. It is, because it's on the larger side, it's one of those plants that absolutely needs support, especially because it produces some lower branches after the main big branch on the plant has developed, and thus it could be easy for it to break. So this would make a very nice patio plant to be grown either in a container or in the soil with some support. Now we have two of the PanAmerican Seed cucumber lines. This, again, two of my favorite plants. We have Mini Crisp and Mini Green grown in the greenhouse and grown indoors, as we've shown. With these two cultivars, in particularly Mini Crisp, we can see that they're very, very early yielding, which I think it's a very important characteristic that has a lot of potential to make cucumber important plants for this market. These plants have been grown in the respective environments for a month. Since transplanting, it took a couple of weeks for the plants to be ready to be transplanted after sowing. You can already see that we have a couple of fruits ready to be harvested of the greenhouse grown plant. Slightly smaller fruits in the indoor grown plant, but they'll be ready soon. They're very high yielding. I grew some at home last fall, and it's just a wonderful plant to be grown indoors or in small spaces in residential places. Now we have Mini Green, and again, you can see lots of mini cucumbers on this plant. In this particular case, the indoor plant has slightly larger fruit than the plant grown in the greenhouse, although the plant in the greenhouse is slightly bigger. Similarly, it's a very productive cultivar. It's just one of those plants that I think, again, has great potential for this growing market. With that, I want to introduce Cheni Filios. She's the product manager of vegetables at PanAmerican Seed Company. She has spent 7 years in the program helping to bring exciting new vegetables and herbs to home gardeners and fresh market farmers. She enjoys growing vegetables and herbs in her patio and buying produce from local farms in the summer. And her hobby is cooking and developing recipes with exciting new varieties and heirloom favorites. So welcome, Cheni, and looking forward to your presentation.
Thank you. So I'll get this up and going and confirm everyone can see the slides. Awesome. So as Celina mentioned, I'm Cheni Filios, and I'd love to introduce you to our program at PanAmerican Seed. We have a great team across the world, and I'll mention a few that you may want to reach out to if you have questions on sales or breeding. Josh Kirschenbaum is our account manager for the US. Luther McLaughlin is our general manager. I do product management. And Karsten Lath, who is on the call, manages business for Europe. And we have some great breeders, and we have seen some highlights of their product, and we're excited for a lot of new product to come in the future. Suzanne Vilmos in Denmark, Sundri Sharma in Illinois, and Jim Irvine in Costa Rica. So a really great program across the world to bring amazing genetics to home gardeners and fresh market farmers. We have multiple market channels that we are working to get product into. With our program called Kitchen Mini and Handpicked Vegetables, we're targeting home gardeners and bedding plant growers. With our handpicked vegetable collection, we are also targeting fresh market farmers. And now I'll go into a bit more detail of where to find information and some more varieties available. The Kitchen Mini program has a great slogan of no garden, no problem. And that's because this program has been bred for varieties that work on your patio table or in your windowsill at home. So you really don't need to have a garden. Some of the varieties that have been bred include pepper tamale and red velvet tomato that work really well in a 4 to 6 inch pot. And then for a larger pot size, we have tomato Siam and hot fajita pepper. All these varieties have really bold flavors and colors, and the focus again is on that small plant habit that makes it perfect for indoor growing like we saw in the UF trials, and then also growing on at home. Some of the growing methods that we recommend for the Kitchen Mini portfolio is that we recommend growers sell these with a few ripe fruit on them. So pre-finish the varieties in the greenhouse, in a tunnel, or outdoors during a warmer time of year, and then sell them pre-finished to home gardeners. Another recommendation is that these should be grown all in small containers, typically 8 inches or smaller. If you want to use a larger pot size, we do recommend planting multiple plants, either 2 or 3 plants for a 10-inch or a 12-inch pot. And again, these are really meant for consumers to grow at home on a sunny windowsill or their patio. So these would be great for a garden center to sell with a few ripe fruit, no matter the time of the year, or for a grocery store to put into their produce section. For more information on the Kitchen Mini portfolio, we recommend hopping over to our website at panamseed.com, and you can find a lot of information about all the varieties and some culture. We have a brochure for the portfolio, and this is hot off the presses, just put on our website this week. And it's a really great way to learn more about the Kitchen Mini program, how to message it to your consumers, to have them understand what they should be doing at home with that plant and how they can use it and enjoy it for a few weeks while it has some great ripe fruit. This is also a program that we are able to provide point of sales marketing material. So in this brochure and online, we recommend that you reach out to our retail support group if you want to have a Kitchen Mini program in your garden center or place of retail. Also on our website, we have a lot of great culture information. Our Grower Facts is an amazing way to be able to learn everything from sowing to finished transplant and days to maturity on all of our vegetable varieties. If you're on the website and looking for Kitchen Mini specific information, make sure you look for the edible potted tab next to all the vegetable varieties. Edible potted is the term we use for these small varieties that are perfect for growing on a windowsill or patio table. Our hand-picked portfolio has a focus on flavors and colors as well as plant habit, with a mention of high productivity and disease resistance. So one variety we heard about from the team at Florida is the tomato Little Bing, and that's part of a 3-variety collection of Little Bing, that is a cherry, Little Napoli, that's a Roma tomato, and Little Sicily, that's a slicer. So you could have 3 matching tomatoes on your patio and be able to have many different uses throughout the summer. We love candy cane red tomato, pepper, for its amazing variegation, not only on the fruit, but also on the pepper plant itself. And then a mention for great colors also in fairy tale eggplant. The growing methods for the hand-picked collection ranges from patio containers, generally 8 inches or larger, growing in ground or a field condition, a high tunnel and protected culture, and this program's really geared for both home gardeners and fresh market farmers. So some varieties that we've mentioned here are a brand new Bellatrix tomato, which is a determinate late blight resistant Roma, great for a patio container or growing in ground. A brand new All-America Selection Award-winning pepper Patapeño, which grows really well in a hanging basket and small container. We love the Everleaf Basil Collection, which has very late flowering basil and robust flavors, which are perfect for a long season on your patio and long harvest over the summer. And Artemis Tomato, which has leaf mold resistance and is great to grow in a high tunnel and has an amazing sweet, crunchy fruit. For more information on the handpick collection, you can find some microsites on the PanAmSeed.com website. And these include a fresh market focus if you check out the /handpicked site, and a home garden focus with the /vegetables. And the difference you'll find here is some different terms that we use for fresh market farmers so that we can really understand the disease resistance and some of the harvest potential. And on the home garden site, we'll give you some really great ideas and tips for selling these in a bedding plant channel for home gardeners. On both websites, you can find our handpicked brochure, and this has a list of all of our varieties available for sale. And I really love the production guide. This is a great way to be able to look up all of the different handpicked varieties and determine the best place to grow them, whether you're a fresh market farmer in the field or in protected culture, or a home gardener looking to grow in ground or in a container. We also have the same culture material on the website, and for these, you'll look for the class name like tomato, pepper, eggplant to be able to find the grower fact information. All of our grower facts are translated into multiple languages, so it's a really great way to be able to spread the knowledge of how to grow these varieties to all of our customer base around the world. And we really hope to connect with you all on social media. We have an account on Facebook as well as Instagram, which is /handpickvegetables for both sites. And it's a really great way for us to keep in touch with all of our customers and learn what's happening in the new programs, as well as how our customers and growers and consumers are using our products, and try to help connect, answer any questions, and then also link to great information like is being done at the universities to provide to our consumers. And lastly, where to buy. PanAmerican Seed does sell only to distributors. So we cannot sell directly to consumers. So we do recommend that people use our where to buy function on the website to connect to many different distributors that sell our varieties. And another great way is to look by variety name in your favorite web search. So in this example, I put in chocolate sprinkled tomato seed, and I was able to find many different locations for this, one of my favorite varieties of tomato from the handpicked collection. And with that, we want to thank you so much for joining and your support, and we look forward to working with you in the future.